Hello guys, welcome to my Battlestar Galactica board game commentary.
Blood dripping.
This is a Friday night board game group. I play games with them every Friday night. A very pleasant group. And I apologize for the sound. The way way they had the camera, the microphone was pretty much pointed at the rest of the room, so it was really no way I could avoid all this ambient sound. I'm to the lower left. Josh is to the left of me, to the left of the camera. You might see his hand occasionally. I didn't get any faces. I couldn't get any faces with this. I'd hit everyone in the room if I tried to get faces, so it wasn't happening. My roommate Daniel is in the red to the upper left. Elizabeth is to the upper right, and Josh is to the lower right.
What a shock.
So
Someone pick Callie and shoot him already.
Daniel picked Baltar. Elizabeth picks Callie, as you can see there. And Dave, I believe, picks Gala, Felix Gala. And I pick, I was about to pick a silent leader. I wasn't sure what Josh was going to do, but I decided out of the hell with it. I'll pay Boomer again. I wanted to, yeah, because they're all like, Boomer sucks. We don't like Boomer because she gets thrown the brig in the second half. But I'm like, if you play a pro silent strategy, who wants for game works inside of the brig, I figure why the hell, why not? I still think Boomer works pretty well. And Josh picks Hilo, which I think was a counter to my Boomer, because he's not quite a pilot, but he's a pilot enough. He can go into space and get shit done. So I think he did that to counter me. I don't know why nobody really wants to be a pilot. In my hand I have the quorum deck there. I don't know why I have it. I'm just shuffling around. Usually that's what I do, just to pass the game along. Kill time. Idle hands are the devil's plaything. And
Wait, are you complaining or
they're setting up the board. I'm really horrible at setting up the board game. I always forget it's three raiders in the front, the base star, and then 2 civilian ships in the back. I always fuck that up. I always forget something, so I usually shuffle cards. So I'm the CAG since I'm the highest ranking pilot. Daniel is the president since Baltar's second in line to become the president, and David is no, actually not David. It would be Josh. Yeah, Hilo is 4th, I believe. Third if you're not playing Pegasus, because King is the highest. David's doing the Destiny deck right there. That's the 10 cards. They have to. Oh, I'm sorry, 12, because treachery. 12 random cards. And now we're getting our loyalty. And this is where I find out that I am a Cylon, much to my chagrin, which is really good if you're Boomer, because now I know. My plan is I have to. So what kind of sucks is you have to reveal. Now I have to, because I don't want to be stuck in the brig. And the ability I got was pretty cool. I got to damage Galactica. Being the only pilot, that kind of works on your favor. I realize a Boomer strategy, like a really good one, is because everyone's counting on you to be the pilot. I don't know, the group I game with, they don't really like being pilots. I really don't know why. I guess because you get stuck as CAG, and you get the CAG cards are always bad. CAG chooses, they're all bad. And people don't like you, no matter what you pick. I choose my cards. I forgot what cards I got there. I think 2 pilot, because I realize I'm a pilot. I realize I'm a Cylon, so I got two piloting. I believe 1 engineering, which is like the worst cards for a skill check. Nobody caught me there. It doesn't really matter because all he draws. Boomer doesn't get leadership, so people would look at you funny if you didn't get leadership, because leadership holds XOs, and if you're human, that's what you want to do. You might be throwing XOs. You can see my hand there.
Oh, is that what this is really about?
This is where Dan goes to the president's office, it draws an endless fucking stack of quorum cards, which
Yeah, you built the fish.
which so pisses me off. Just so pissed me off. Like, I think Dan's like the only guy. He stays in the fucking president's office the entire goddamn time and draws quorum cards. And it almost, if I were playing Cali, next time I play Cali, and I see like the third time of him drawing nonstop quorum cards, I always think he's planning on trying to get a brig or some shit. He's trying to get a brig card to brig people. Because that's his strategy as a Cylon.
Looking around leadership and politics. And what card are you taking, Walter? You sure you don't want to
Now I'm being real picky. Like at this early on, I like to be helpful early on because people pay the most attention at the early on of the game, and so I don't think I sabotage this one because I want to get myself out. But later on, I get a red six. I have to fucking play. I have to play. So I threw that in along with the tactics, and I say I threw in two cards and. David to my right threw in one, so when there was a red, even though he can't draw reds, so it was a red six and it was some other bad card. I think I got saved because everyone thought because he threw in one, and there was three bad cards in Destiny. It was two in Destiny, one bad card, and everyone thought, okay, well the red six had to come from Destiny, so, and I think the bad one was green, so they were looking at him because I threw in two and it was the second time I completely fooled Daniel.
you didn't six. You didn't draw your card.
And I don't know.
You did 11.
I don't know what Josh or Elizabeth thought. Elizabeth usually catches on to me really quick, like the brig incident. Where I threw in the card and I fooled everyone except for Elizabeth. Well, of course, 'cause she was in the brig. She was in the brig with me, and I sabotaged her. I was about to reveal anyway. So basically, I'm waiting for like some kind of a crisis where Boomer's special ability is she could pick if there's a skill check, she could choose to pass or fail it without anybody having to blow any cards, which is a really good ability. And I'm waiting for like somebody dies. I'm waiting for like that kind of a thing where if it fails, somebody dies, and I didn't quite get that at all.
Even though your husband said you stink and stuff, I think
Which really, I want that to happen because that's really that's Boomer, like Boomer in your face. That's almost like Callie's like once per game. My group seems to have a hard on for Callie, and I don't know why. Because Callie, another friend or acquaintance of mine, Tim, he was going. We had a debate about Callie, a small one about. He thinks Callie's overpowered. I think Callie she's okay. I think her greatest weakness is her card spread. She only draws two engineering and one of everything else except for I believe piloting. Yeah, I'm sorry, piloting because of course she can't pilot, and of course no treachery. Only one person draws treachery. One human, quote unquote, draws treachery. Helen Ty. And she can only throw two. She can't throw just one card. She has to be two or higher or none into any skill check she's in. And I just think that's just devastating. And I don't know, and that's coming from a player who played. I usually played either Kane or Ty, Kane or Saul Ty. I draw two card people, and having that kind of a strength for skill checks, being able to stall skill checks basically, and carry your team through like the hardest skill checks is really. And then just going all over the Cali and being effectively neutered except for your wants per game and jerry rigging is just, I don't know, but that's just my opinion. And here comes a skill check. I don't know what the crisis is.
Well, red was positive. Well, it's a zero. Right. So you can activate it like.
Typically, I don't know what's wrong with me. Like, I'm a really bad overt Cylon. I have to really motivate myself to be overtly Cylon. Like in the beginning of the game, I was way too fucking helpful.
go human, go human.
Which means
And there's a heavy raider in that area, which I think I think I blow it up, which is very, very human of me. Because Virus Cylon I would have left that shit in there. Yeah, I would have had Daniel be pulling off, having him use authorization of brutal force. Yeah, which is what he does later on, which really, that's another thing I got into him with earlier. I'll get into that when that happens. His authorization of brutal force in the, God, Daniel. I was so pissed at him for this Galactic. He ends up being a Cylon midway through in the sleeper agent phase and becomes completely fucking ineffectual. And I did a grandiose job of fucking lowering everything. I did everything in my fucking power, and they were just so goddamn lucky. You'll see what I'm trying to do later on. I don't know how I could have done any better. I played some kind of pro fucking strategy. I played a good game of Boomer. I can tell people how to play Boomer.
Yeah.
This echoes. I started to get really like nervous because in a 5-player game, there's 2 UR Cylon cards, and there's a chance that there's always going to be one Cylon no matter what, but there's a chance that there just might be one throughout the entire game, and that's kind of bullshit for the Cylons. But there's really nothing you can do about it because if you put in 3 UR Cylon cards, having 3 Cylons in a 5-player game is fucking broken. The Cylons will definitely win. Because having 3 silent players and they all might be in a row on their turns, that's fucking, that's stupid. So yeah, oh yeah, that's in the earlier game, Josh and some of the other Battlestar Galactica players believe that you can't lose to food. Nobody ever loses to food, and Daniel proved him wrong and managed to kill him off. I believe it was a 3-player game or 4-player game. He was the only Silent. He blew him away by lowering the food. And David has his iPad there, or his reader, or tablet there, and he showed him the picture they took of the food dial at 0. And I'm rolling to there. I am. I'm gonna blow up that.
Totally addicted.
Yeah, I blew up that heavy raider. Yeah, I seen.
You're not a Cylon.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, see,
Yeah, see, I'm like, yeah, hey, I am a human, and I feel pretty smug at this point. I think I try to sabotage it.
and after this weird symbol, the current player chooses another player.
Oh yeah, this is the one where I put in the symbol. I actually have a red. I think I have a blue or something. And I have a tell. I have a really bad tell. The card I play is always the one I have in my right hand. And I always put it up front. So watch. The card I'm going to play. See, I'm looking through my cards. I'm doing a good job of looking through my cards, but I put that. See, now I spoiled it. I always put the card. Well, you know what? I'm gonna change this up my game. My card handling is really, really bad because everyone knows you can telegraph what card I'm going to play. And so the card I'm going to play is my far right, and I'm going to say I can only do one. And it's going to be the one with the symbol on it. It's going to be like strength 0. Because I want to send somebody else to this. Really want to send somebody to sick bay.
Well, I can. Well, I got.
So I said, okay, I'm only going to play one. It's going to be the one with the symbol. And the person I picked to go to sick bay. Now, in a really retarded choice, I pick Callie, and I really wanted that. I meant that to be a pro-human, so I was kind of playing like, well, gosh darn it, I was saddled with the decision of saying somebody to sick bay. I was saying Callie, and Josh was like, it's pretty stupid because I'm not going to XO her, or I don't have any XO cards, and Daniel, of course, isn't going to XO her. He's going to be drawing quorum cards, and so it's going to be Callie's turn, and she'll be stuck drawing one card. And I was almost sent David there because he had one extra turn. Kelly might have been able to XO him. That would have been much more pro-human. I ended up doing the Cylon move, just acting like a retarded human. Now I'm handling the skill check. And silly of me, I forget to activate my recon ability. So Josh immediately moves on. He wants to move the game on. I don't blame him. I just forgot about it. And nobody plays Boomer, so I don't blame him either. So it was just my dumb fault. So as you can see, Josh is picking up the cards. I'm fucking being a retard. And then the turn moves on. I go, oh shit, I forgot to do recon because I was gonna immediately start fucking around with the Destiny deck or the Crisis cards. Crisis deck.
was really, she has one less turn, but
Here I am talking and not paying attention.
yeah, because it'll be up to a ball card day because I give order for which ain't gonna happen. All right, so I do my prices.
I think she was threatening to shoot me or something like that, and I said well, I was in space, so you couldn't shoot me.
Or you discard 2 cards.
Oh yeah, because I sent her to sick bay and she got pissed. She didn't really get pissed, but she was playing pissed. But yeah, she was like, I'm gonna shoot you. I'm like, well, I'm in space. Can't do anything about it.
No. This is my crisis.
I don't mind being the president. I just don't know how to play a fucking CAG. And I finally learned how. You move in space and you get you move in space and you get CAG action, which could be launching another. Basically, it's almost like a command action. You could basically activate an unmanned Viper, so you can launch one out or move one. So I think I move one off the board. I move a civilian ship off the board. I don't like fucking around with population. Civilian ships aren't my thing, and they're mostly population. And there's 2 blanks. My main focus is to either fuck with fuel or damage Galacticos. Those are the 2 easiest ways to win, in my opinion. And probably getting a Centurion on the board if your president is pretty good. To force people to fucking spend time in the armory,
2 politics.
blowing cards and stuff.
And 1 engineering.
Blowing cards. That's a saying of a desperate Cylon right there.
1 engineering.
I think we already warped. He picked a 2, so we lost 2 fuel. And
Picked up the card.
I think I reveal early on. I think I'm gonna reveal when it comes to my turn. Cause I'm in the hangar deck.
Rewind. I can see that.
Oh yeah, we come up against a crisis. We come to a crisis where Daniel was able to look at another person's loyalty card, and I shit my pants because Daniel's looking at me. And the cool thing about Boomer is that, well, do you really want to look at Boomer's loyalty card? If you find out she's a Cylon, well, if you don't, see, for one thing, Boomer, I'm a CAG, big fucking deal. I'm not the Admiral, not the President, but Daniel's the President, so it eliminates one person to look at. But fortunately, I was able to cast enough doubt on David, the guy on my right, that Daniel had to look at his card. And Josh was being so goddamn pro-human that it was like no bother. And why are you gonna look at Callie? Because Callie will just come over and shoot your ass. Oh yeah, I'm a Cylon? Well, boom. Everyone's so scared of Callie, but if you play as Boomer, see that's the thing. Boomer's gonna get sent to the brig, right? Do you really want to do anything to her? Do you really want to look at her loyalty card? Does it matter? What are you gonna do to me? And if he says I'm a Cylon, I'm a really bad bluffer. I'm really bad, I can't go, oh no, use the Cylon. But really, if you're saddled with Callie, and somebody says you're a Cylon, you're gonna go over there and blow them away. Is she gonna really listen to Daniel? Daniel, the professional bullshit artist? I don't think so.
Alright, your turn.
So you're the Cylon.
She's always a silent.
Alright, Callie. You get 1 card.
Oh shit.
No one extra of you.
Yeah, it's Callie's turn. She's in the brig because of my retarded move, according to Josh. But I was a Cylon, so I guess it wasn't so retarded.
And he was the only person who could actually.
I'm moving up to the president's office.
She's teasing the idea of killing somebody.
You're moving to the hangar.
See, big deal.
Our only pilot.
Reveal.
Callie's is so meh. Yeah, of course, there's nothing for Callie to do because Callie's Callie. That's what I said. You could use I told her she could use a repair card. Repair the Viper.
She didn't pick up blue.
Now what's that all about?
Oh yeah, she didn't draw blue because she was in sickbay. She exils the President Dan, so he can draw more quorum cards. Actually, I believe he does 2 inspirational speeches, and I think the first one failed because he rolled a 1 and we all laughed at him.
Exiling the president.
Which is what I think he's about to do right now. I think he's about to do an inspirational speech. which it gives you a dice roll. If you roll 4 or higher, you get or 6 or higher or something.
Let's try an inspirational speech.
You get him
On
around.
the strategic
So he's gonna roll and he's gonna roll a 1, and we all laugh.
You
Worst
have the
president ever.
And so he's like, so he draws another. No, because he gets another. Yeah, see, Daniel's getting it. We have to tell him 5 times.
You get second.
Because he's exiled, he gets 2 actions. So that is kind of confusing though, because like you're a president, you're drawing corn cards, and it kind of feels like drawing one's an action. So he's gonna play another inspirational speech, and I believe he rolls a 6, and he's gonna get the morale. And I'm like, big fucking deal. I'm going after fuel.
Oh God, not again.
We're all going to die in jail.
We're all gonna die.
See, I do pretty well. Automatically, I almost always want the humans to win.
Hey, that's on the record.
Because I'm so single-minded Cylon. I'm such a single-minded Cylon. Like, I'm always after one thing, so if anything else happens, I can feign excitement pretty easily. I am actually pretty excited they got the morale up.
Pass no effect, fail damage Galactica once, and Star Raptor, or I can go to sick bay.
So I was thinking about botching that. That's what I'm thinking right now. I'm thinking about using my once per game, and I said, you know, here's the problem with my once per game. It doesn't work on President chooses. It's only during skill checks, so it's real dicey. Ideally, you want to wait until the last fucking minute, because what could happen is if I botch hers,
Somebody exo me,
then
I can't
Gala, David, the guy to my right, could exo her and she could shoot me. And the bad thing about that is that then if she shoots me, then not only do I don't get to activate my ability, and I don't get my super crisis, which neuters me.
Oh wait, you got Exo?
So right now I'm shitting bricks. Yeah, President chooses. I don't use my once per game. I'm like, well, okay, one more turn. I believe I go out into space and I escort the ship off there.
I can discard 3.
Cylon chooses.
I'm always asking around as to what the fuck to do in space, because space is real dicey.
I think you passed it on top of that stack. Take out what? Did you put the?
And I promised myself I'd rewind during this part, where we got confused on the cards.
Roll place the base. Two.
Here's where I place civvy ships. When you're placing civvy ships, you can't put civvy ships where other civvy ships are. So basically, you gotta plan it to where you know where the Cylons are gonna appear. You can see on the board, on the board game on the upper side of the screen is the pursuit board. It's the Cylon fleet board. So when the pursuit track reaches a certain point, it's like their own, like Cylons have their own personal jump system, and when it hits the end, and all those things come on board. So when you put civvy ships, you want to put them where raiders won't be, or if you're going to put them where raiders won't be, and you have no choice, you can put them where far away, like in front.
I've seen that
So even though Base Star is going to appear there, Base Stars never fire on civvy ships. Only raiders do, and heavy raiders don't fire at all. Base Stars only launch shit and fire the Galactica when there's appropriate cards.
3 jumps.
So like I said, I'm gonna get a CAG. I'm a retard. I'm a retard at CAG. I have no idea what to do. So I'm taking 5 hours here to figure out what the fuck I'm gonna do. I'll put a ship there, and then my action I take a civvy ship. It should take 5 seconds to do. I was debating as to what to do there, like what should I do, and there's really nothing I could do. I think an Olympic carrier.
Don't compare to failure, passive effect, fail, -1 population, and move the fleet tilted.
Now this is one I definitely want to fail, because this one it decreases the pursuit track. Now I'm trying to think, how do I sabotage this? I believe I have a red 6. So see, I shuffle up front. So there I go.
can't help.
So I'm thinking, well, okay, I have a red 6, so I want to throw in other cards. I believe I might have thrown in. So here's the thing: I want to throw in multiple cards. So there I go. Yeah, I'm contemplating throwing in those 2 front cards there. And I think it might have been a 0 engineering, but I don't want to blow any symbol cards because I want to wait until symbol skill checks come up. Because symbol skill checks, when you put in the symbol, usually like Base Stars Fire or something like that, really interesting. So I think I put in both of them. Yeah, I put in 2. Yeah. And I tried it. I tried my best to feign surprise. I'm actually got away with this, putting in the red 6.
Boomer's gonna go to jail pretty soon, so.
And I got away with it by acting like as if I was a human, which is really easy to do. So I'm easily excitable by everything. And I'm a shade counter, so I'm trying to. I'm like, whatever. I give up after like the third card.
How? I don't get red. Did you split red?
Okay, wait.
Now we're doing the accusation. Who could put in that red?
I didn't put it.
Alright, so the red or the yellow could come from, the red could come from us. The yellow
We're
could
kind of decide. And then David, they think David's a silent. I'm just laughing it up.
Oh my god.
I got away with it.
Yeah, make sure I want to do my
So at this point, Daniel thinks Dave is a silent, and I'm like, fuck it, fucking A. And I don't know what I'm looking. Oh yeah, I'm looking at that's the you can see that's I'm using my recon ability there, and I see there's a jump symbol. And I spent a lot of time thinking about it, but I eventually decided to tuck it.
What do you guys decide?
And then later on, I spoke to my roommate Daniel,
To be a silent, it's not.
and he's like, "We knew you were putting jump symbols on the bomb because we weren't getting cards with jumps on them." I was like, "No, you don't. You don't know what the fuck I'm doing. You don't know because you draw 2 and you pick 1, right?" No, that's another thing. Recon is just one or the other.
Always a silent.
It's almost like it's exactly like Launch Scout, except it's for. Actually, I take that back. It's exactly like Launch Scout. It's like a free Launch Scout at the end of your turn, which makes sense because that's what Boomer did. Boomer was a Raptor pilot. She was a scout.
I better pray with Silent. Look what's about to happen.
You can have some time he's not a silent.
I'm a distinguished man.
I think Dave is a silent.
If you're with me this far, I'm really happy. Thank you for putting up with this. I really love this game. This is the only board game I could play it pretty much every day. Because the characters, it has characters. It may like 1,000 different things can happen. There's 1,000 different things to watch for, and trying to win as a Cylon, and it's just trying to suss out. It's just when you win, it feels. When you win, it feels like a big deal. Even when you're human, it's such a big deal when you win. You feel like holy crap, And you can review your strategy, what worked, what didn't work. There's so many ways you can play. And like I said, even with Boomer, like I'm walking in a group of guys that are like, Boomer sucks, and I played Boomer twice, like pretty damn well.
I'm almost okay going to sick bay if people
And Boomer doesn't get any leadership cards, which is really cool.
I mean, I basically did.
I'm pretty sure Boomer was meant to be played pro Cylon. Just play it like a Cylon. Just count on the 2 cards getting at the end being Cylon cards, and just play like an asshole.
No jump on that, is there?
And if you're a human, well then, shit, oh well. It's all about luck and stuff. I mean, you never
I
know.
don't know, Destiny might work against me, right?
And I'll get into that later on with Daniel. What we talked about, because
Last time I didn't help you guys.
where are we? At this point, I forget what I'm doing. I think at this point I want to reveal. I'm coming close to revealing. I'm just waiting for a really juicy. Like Boomer is all about timing.
Calculation is good.
And
Good. Bad. Bad.
see,
Things I can't draw.
I'm saying, hey, Destiny.
David.
I think this time I help with low-level cards, which is what you want to do. If you're going to throw in cards, throw in shitty cards. If you got, here's the thing: when you use text ability cards that are high numbers, that kind of gives your hand away. But I don't see them a lot of them paying attention to the number of the card you throw down. Like I think at one point I threw down like a 5 of a text card for a die roll or something. I threw down a 5 and that didn't get me any looks. I'm like, who would throw down a 5 for a strategic planning? Strategic planning is pretty good, but I had a 4 and a 5. Like, I'm pretty sure they would say, why don't you save your 4s?
Generally, when I do it, I'm like a second level.
And at one point, it's really funny. There was a crisis.
There's also a quorum card that
There's a crisis coming up, and I have three red cards. I really wanted this crisis to fail because it's one of those the humans go back on the jump track and basically they stay longer in space. And I really wanted it to fail, so I said, "Oh, I can help a little bit." And then Josh plays Dave plays investigative committee and blows my shit, and I'm like, "Oh my god!" And I had nothing but three red cards, so I couldn't feign my way out. So when it came my turn, instead of lying and saying I couldn't help, I said, I think I'm gonna hold on to my cards," which is brilliant of me because I didn't think of that. I was gonna say, "Oh, I'm sorry." I was gonna say something really retarded and say, "Oh, I don't have that. I don't have any cards to help."
power failure.
After I just bragged and said, "Oh, I can do this."
Okay, so it's leadership, tactics, and engineering.
And here's when we're not getting any jump cards, and I'm like thanking my lucky stars because when you're a boomer, I want shit to blow up. Was it based on my area? I don't know if I could take it out.
Are you gonna draw a card?
What's funny is when I think I do my ability and then the raptor fires on me, which is funny. I mean the raider. And they want me to die to the raider. I'm like, well, it's no big deal. And even Josh says, well, there's no big deal if you go to sick, but you can still reveal. But I was like, you don't get your full allotment of cards. You only get one, and that could hurt you. And I did get like a really good assortment. Yeah, he plays investigative committee after I said, yeah, there it is. And I have three piloting cards. See, you can see them. Three piloting and like one other card or something. And so I go, oh shit. I'm looking at my cards going, oh shit, you got me. I can't. I really wanted to sabotage him, but play investigative committee. Investigative committee is a move where you have to throw your. Normally the cards you throw on are face down, so nobody knows if you're silent or not. So it comes my turn, I say I'm gonna hold on to my cards. Which is like, oh shit. And I'm like, wow, there was like 15 different. I'm pretty sure other people watching this who played Battlestar Galactica are like, oh my god, they didn't know you were a Cylon? Really? But yeah, I got away with it. And then they pass it, and I'm like, shit. I'm praying to Destiny, and Destiny ended up helping
You
me.
need it that much. Especially with Destiny helping.
Fucking jump on the jump track.
Alright, so we have a border. We have
And then, oh yeah, okay. Here's the part. Okay, so there's a centurion boarded. They have a centurion on the track. Now, fucking Daniel blows it away with
Damn, I can use that on this turn.
authorization of brutal force. And I was so pissed. I was like, because he ended up being a silent. I said, you're present. You have authorization of brutal force. Okay, and there's a chance you might be a Cylon. I would have let like a turn. I would have let a round turn go over because it was early on the jump track. I hadn't revealed yet. There was no reason for him to blow it up, but he did.
one of those two.
I don't know what the timing is on the reveal. I think he was scared because I revealed, and he knew that's what I might have wanted to do.
What's wrong with that?
Is push the Cylon down. So maybe he is right.
Yes, your pilots are in space. Well, actually, your military lead and your pilot is in space.
So I'm doing the Elizabeth impersonation. Her in the name of Callie's ability is discharge of a firearm. I was like, discharge of a missile launcher. She was like, I want to be in space and blow. She was going after Hilo for whatever reason, and not me. I fly under the radar. I strongly believe because it's a boomer. Because if it's a 50-50, I'm ending up in the brig anyway. Nobody's gonna waste a blow. Nobody's gonna waste their shit on me. And so far, I'm pretty human. I blew up the heavy raider earlier. I'm a CAG. I've been doing very CAG-ly things. Two civilian ships on the board. One of them's guarded by a Viper there, the one to my right. And then one in the base star that'll make the Raptors go back. I mean, not the Raptors, the Raiders go back. So yeah, there they go. Josh moved them back. So it's gonna buy me time. No Sylvie ships were destroyed, evidently.
Hilo.
Alright.
Shoot him down. Oh, no.
So they're firing. They're firing on me. And I think I play.
What's a
Is
miss?
that a miss?
That's a miss.
Yeah, I mean a Super Viper and I'm piloted, so it's really hard to.
Come on, David, get us out of here.
Yeah, I believe they activate FTL. And Josh does a move that utterly saves him. He draws a 1, but he gets fuel, and that ended up saving them. Because if it wasn't for that, they'd be at 0. And if he wasn't playing Hilo too, because he got a reroll, and on a reroll he got 2 fuel. I'm like, fuck. Because they passed with they ended up ending up the game with 3 fuel or something, and they wouldn't have gotten that extra 1 if the game ended at the 2. Because they get 1 later on. One fuel.
Then I'll say that.
Jumps and shit. Every card has an activate raiders, activate Cylon things. Every card, one way or another. Though they rarely have heavy raiders aren't all that common. It's almost like base stars fire, but it's usually light raiders activate.
I'm using my one.
And so that's when I'm like, well, why did Dan blow his shit on the fucking
Once per game fail.
Cylon raider up there? But anyway, we only traveled 2, so it's too early. So I kind of agree. And we jump a 1.
Still jump.
Yeah, light raiders activate, so pick a
I
location.
believe the base star destroys the location. Oh, it destroys Pegasus.
Yeah, who are you attacking?
Attack Hilo. No, attack Alex.
Okay, miss, and then
Yeah, I got evasive maneuvers, so he's gonna. Yeah, I throw evasive maneuver, so he doesn't hit me. And then the next shot misses.
Reroll. Roll another 8.
actually, I don't know why you care if you
An
reveal.
8 would be a damage. Oh. Can I play?
Oh, I think I revealed.
Alright, give me my card. Alright.
Yeah, I revealed. I'm sorry, I blew it. I missed it while I was talking. So.
I was so cool. When you played, I was gonna help you.
Yeah, he played investigative committee. I was like, shit, and I had nothing but red cards.
I was totally
I
gonna.
was like, I was gonna throw all my cards into that shit. That's when I was basically going to reveal, because Callie couldn't shoot me. There's nothing they could have done. The president's miles away from me.
For my
One of those 2.
Well, you got my little thing. Nothing else I can do but reveal. Yeah, or you're probably going to brig.
I don't know why he said I was going to the brig.
I can draw 5 Galactica 2 to resolve.
And I drew on my card. You pick 2 locations on the Galactica to destroy by doing this. You pull all the tokens. You pick 5, and you look at the 5. And Josh told me, "Oh, don't flip them up so we can see them." I'm like, "Well, who gives a shit? I'm picking." What, you don't want to see what I'm about to pick? You're gonna know. Yeah. See, he's like, "Oh, you probably shouldn't show." I'm like, "Well, it doesn't matter." Yeah, that's what I say. You're about to find out anyway. So I pick FTL because I don't want them to fucking. I want if they're gonna use FTL, I want them to waste a turn repairing. Oh, never mind. I picked armory. Dumb. I'm such a merperdoo. And then yeah, there's the fuel. I'll be shocked if you didn't pick fuel. I almost picked FTL, but I picked fuel because it's harder to get. So now they're really low on fuel. They're at 3 or 4. And it's Josh's turn, and they're about to
I
warp.
get a super crisis, don't I? Because I revealed properly. Is this super crisis?
So now Josh is really thinking. He's thinking the override now. He's like, okay, well, I need fuel.
I got away. I don't know if I'm gonna pull this off, but hey, I pulled.
Yeah, that's yeah.
That's the thing. Oh, but I put a jump symbol on the bottom.
Yeah, and then Daniel's like, oh, I knew you put jumps on the bombs. There's no fucking way he could have known. That's so stupid.
The thing was, I was suspicious of you, but it was like,
So stupid. He knows the cards I draw. They're all fucking insta death cards. He knows. We knew you were gonna fucking put jump symbols on the bottom. I was like, yeah, okay. Bullshit. If I was human, I'd be putting all the shit down at the bottom. 'Cause every card I draw is fucking death. I draw the Black Plague. I know I fucking survived in the game. See, even that card I drew was like, player gets sent to sickbay. Every fucking card I draw is a death sentence for me. I'm either going to sickbay, brig, or die. It's my luck in this game If I'm a Cylon, I get. Oh man, it's criminal. It's fucking criminal. The cards I fucking draw.
I'm going to jump us.
Fuck.
Nah, it's only one pop.
Seriously.
5. Do you want to reroll it, David?
And they jump. And Josh saves him. Josh literally saves him. He draws a 1, and then he was worried that people go,
Lose 1 field. The Admiral may risk 1 raptor to roll a die. 3 or higher, gain 2 field. I have not.
so he rolls a 1. I'm like, yes.
I haven't used my reroll.
Because I want him to blow a raptor. And then he does his reroll, and he fucking gets an 8 and shit. I'm like, fuck. Yeah, that's see, you can see me.
6. Gain 2.
Yeah. I'm fucking pissed.
3.
All together?
Yes.
Yeah.
We were behind in the field, and I'll tell you the other one kind of sucked too.
Yeah, and then Daniel's like, are you sure you're sorry? Because he pulled a 1.
Look at his card.
Look at it, we got 2 fields, Mr.
Because, Daniel's never been an admiral. Players who haven't been certain jobs, they have just fucking one-track minds. They're like, oh, you're a Cylon. They don't know what the hell you're thinking. And I've been present before. I know if you keep drawing quorum cards, you're looking for braid cards. It's so fruity. Alright, so at this point, okay, so I'm a revealed Cylon. I'm in the sick bay. I have a Super Crisis card. My Super Crisis card is basically everything activates. It doesn't hit the resource tail, but everything activates, which is good because I'm Boomer. They lost their main pilot. The CAG, I believe, is Hilo, and he can still pilot, but he doesn't. I believe he only draws 1 piloting card. So not a lot of maximum firepower or evasive maneuvering go, but he still has evasive maneuvering because
Yeah, I guess.
piloting cards
Just to make sure. I mean, if nothing else, we
are all
actually the 6 plus is no effect.
piloting cards are mostly bad. That's what I meant to say. I'm fading out. Closing on the halfway point. This in Battlestar Galactica for a 5-player game. This one,
I'll take it over. 7.
yeah, we play pretty fast. All of us know Battlestar Galactica.
6.
We if Peter was there and maybe if Peter and Tim were there,
Skill card. Must be
we could probably go with like a 7-player Galactica in maybe 2 hours. We probably could. But the problem with 7 players, even with people who know exactly what they're doing, what the rules are, you still got a lot of planning going on. A lot of people requires a lot of planning, and you got a team of 3 Cylons, or pretty much they're going to be revealed. They're going to be openly planning, and when you're a Cylon, you have to fucking think forever. It's like right now I'm looking at that board over there because I have no idea how it works. I've never really used it before. So I'm thinking that's what I'm looking at right now. See, I'm like have my head over there. If you see my head, that means I'm looking at that board. Because I want to delay them. I want to delay them. I want to lose fuel, and I want the ships to be on board. I want them to fire. I want the ships to be on board, and then so I can go to Caprica and activate my ability, and I would pretty much win. I think I would win. I think I could have won in 1 turn. Because more and more raptors were coming out. More and more raiders were coming out. And if you got 8 raiders on the board,
reunite the fleet. Pass, we get a population. Fail, -1 round. Each player discards 1 skill card and draws 1 treachery. Or the current player discards 2 random.
I think they tanked this on purpose and draw treachery. Treachery cards, if you have to treachery, the reason why I trade out for treachery is because all my cards, I believe all my cards at this point, or the card I have, I think I only have 1 card, and it's a 0 strength piloting, and it has a symbol on it, and I was like, well, I want it for the symbol. It has 0 strength piloting, really can't do anything. But if I get a treachery, that means basically every treachery card has a symbol on it, and they're really weak strength cards. but they're at least 1, 2, and 3. I think there's maybe a 0 treachery, but it's pretty rare. But I decided to dump my piloting. I'm mainly going for the symbol because I want. Because these guys have a pretty strong card hands. I don't think I could sabotage them all that well.
Yeah, I passed.
Oh, okay, so I have 2. Oh well, I'm about to have 1. I sabotaged that. I throw in the only card of value I have, and I believe they fail it. And I asked Josh like a dumbass, "Oh, am I allowed to draw a treachery?" When I know the answer, I was just asking because I know I was able to do it under Tim, but sometimes when you play with different people, the rules change. I don't mean to accuse of anything, but that's typically what happens. Like the whole, do you get a super crisis if you pop yourself in the head?
I just got this.
It's something I didn't quite understand. You do. You just don't get the. See that? I just asked him, can I draw a treachery? So I dumped my 0 red piloting card, which had a symbol on it. And I get a treachery, which always has a symbol on it, but it has power on it. I think except sabotage. Sabotage is the only one that doesn't have a symbol on it, but sabotage is great. Sabotage is the highest strength treachery card, but it's so dicey. You almost don't want to use it because if you use it, then you can't use sabotage. Because sabotage is really really good to use. You can only use it basically sabotage is when somebody discards a treachery. They have to tell. Somebody always has to say that they're discarding a treachery. And when they say that, you can play sabotage and you basically damage a location you want, any location you want, which is really good. The problem with that, yeah, it's a 3 strength card, treachery. It's almost always bad. I think for every crisis it's bad. The only skill check where treachery is positive is the airlock, which is now currently destroyed. The airlock is on Pegasus. It's the second to the left, from the left. I mean, first it's CIC, airlock, main battery, or Pegasus battery, and engineer. Pegasus is usually the ship that goes down first because you can't let Galactica be destroyed. It's too valuable in a location. The armory, FTL, and the hangar deck.
I can help, but I can't pass it on.
They're all too valuable locations.
So should we just tank it?
They're considering tanking it because they got treachery cards in their hands. Some skill checks you want to tank with treachery because, like I said, you can't discard treachery. There's a chance that somebody will throw a sabotage out there. Pretty rare. I've seen it once. I say it's rare because I don't ever get fucking. The times I get sabotaged usually at the end of the goddamn game. It's too late anyway. Nobody has treachery. So right now they're thinking about tossing in the treacheries.
Is that gonna help you, Dan?
Yeah, you don't have engineering.
All my cards are really low.
Well, it would if you put it in instead of playing it before.
I can't put it in.
Go ahead and try.
Here's where we're deciding whether or not they're going for it. I'm looking on. They're not asking. I'm basically out of the input. I'm a deadly player now.
Okay, I'm set.
They're not gonna listen to me. I'll put up a game where I'm a silent leader, and that'll provide much more interesting commentary. I believe. I'm not saying this is boring, but now that I have some dead space here, I'll talk about the strategy I have with Dan. Dan. So I think he blew up the Centurion on the track. Now I had a discussion. I told him, I don't know if you were president. I would have left the Centurion on there. It actually, Daniel was right because it was the Centurion on the track when the distance is at 2, and Josh pulled a 1 distance. Yeah, you want to kill the Centurion because it's too long. It's too much of a risk. And I'm revealed, and you know I'm going to push the Centurion up. I'm not going to give a shit whether or not I want to kill you as fast as possible, basically. But I was like, if a Centurion's on the track and the sleeper agent phase is about to happen, you're present, you have an authorization of brutal force, which you can take out the Centurion, then maybe you want to keep it on the board because you might be a Cylon. And he's like, well, I don't want to play like that. You're supposed to play as a human, And I said, that's stupid because the sleeper, the curtain's been lifted. You know, you could be a Cylon, so maybe you should take into account that you might be a Cylon in the middle of the game, and it would create more interesting gameplay. And we eliminate some of those retarded games, some of those stupid games you get where the humans just demolish the fucking Cylons, all because everyone was a fucking goody two shoes fucking human.
You guys want to do that?
But it's a strategy, I understand, and sometimes that strategy backfires.
There's nobody died.
But it backfires for the fucking the minority players.
That's okay.
So right now, as it stands for my personal stats, Battlestar Galactica, I probably have more losses than wins. My kill death ratio was severely tarnished by my silent leader streak. I have yet to win as a silent leader. It's pretty hard. But I have see, I'm looking at my Super Crisis card there. As you can see, it's the one that activates everything. So I want everything to be on the board. So I'm I'm looking at the board. I'm like praying. I'm like willing with all my strength for all that shit to come on the board. And I just want to run the capper as fast as I can, blow it. But right now I'm thinking, okay, well, that's probably not going to happen. I need to push the pursuit track and push their jump track back. And I do this by going to the fleet and activating all the bullshit there. So anyway, so I'm saying, I forgot what I was going to say now. There's another skill check. I don't know what that is. Most of the stuff is pretty much unimportant. But the whole playing like a Cylon thing and not playing too human. And my kill death ratio. Yeah, I've won as a pilot once. I was Boomer, ironically. Actually, I take that back. I won as Cat. And that was a close one. Daniel's Baltar barely fucking pulled it off. He sat in the fucking presidential office doing nothing. I said, hey, come to command, take the... I was basically fighting a losing battle outside in space, and Galactica was about to get fucking destroyed. We were like at 0 at everything. And Daniel sat and fucking drew corn cards, and I was soloing everything and almost fucking lost it. And see, I won as a military leader pretty much solidly. I won as Kane and Ty. Support, I've won as Callie. And I've yet to win as a political leader. My favorite political leader would be Tom Zarek. Because I don't give a shit about Callie. I don't give a shit about dying. It's the Brig. The Brig kills you. The Brig can kill you. And if you get enough people in the Brig, it's pretty much game over. And Zarek can make it easy and hard for you to get out of the Brig.
Oh my god.
Pass, nothing happened. All save operation. Yes, you jump, roll.
So Josh pulled a declare emergency, so they ran that skill check.
And you get one card, Cylon.
I take a treachery, and then here's where I walk around, and I decide what the fuck do I do. I take my character, and I look at the board, and here's where I ask like infinite questions, because I don't know what the fuck is going on. Now the second ability. Now I'm gonna look this up. The second ability is if the dice you roll is less than the amount of Vipers or Raiders on the board, then you damage Galactica. Now there's no Raiders on the board, so I'm thinking, well, oh no, it's always gonna be. Oh, it's never gonna be less than. Oh well, I shut myself up.
Oh, no, that's good.
Yeah, but you fizzle.
Yeah, I told him, well, I want the jump track down anyway, so it gives a shit.
Alright, so he buys me a turn.
I was like, whatever. It was a win-win situation for me. It would have been, in the end, would have been better for the shit to come on the board, so I could use my ability. But fuck it, man. the problem is that Callie and Gala, they can both repair. Gala can't repair as well because he only draws one blue, but he still can do it. And fucking, but Baltar could too, but he's Daniel with the fucking quorum cards. Every goddamn. And I've been president. I've always had a useful hand of quorum cards. I've never been in a situation where I didn't have use for quorum cards. Never. It's kind of like being a military leader and not having XO. You can't believe people when they don't have fucking XOs.
Can't go after you do that. Those are coming on. And my
It's like, oh, I don't have XOs. And that's guaranteed to get him a dirty. But Daniel's having really bad eyesight problems. So that's why he's handing off the crisis card. He usually hands it off to me or Josh because we read it fast. We know what the fuck we're doing.
I'm actually one over.
And I'm blocking the board with my shirt. That is a $10 shirt there. I believe from Target. Marona. I'm throwing a plug there. Target, I'm your man.
Heavy Raiders, and a Heavy Raider B-Star.
Beautiful shirt.
So we can see it pretty good.
All the shit goes on board, but they're about to jump anyway, so I'm kind of like, right now I'm hoping against hope that they don't get any jump symbols. I'm like shitting my pants. I'm just waiting for the fucking turn, because if all that stuff's on the board on my turn, I was going to go immediately to Caprica and blood, but David to my right, he activates the FTL, and I'm like, shit. Population, unlike fuel, population, I don't think you can ever get population back, I think. Well, actually, I take that back. Give me some crisis cards to do it, but. Yeah. Oh, that sound as a kid. I believe it annoyed Josh. I'm always amazed by kids that play board games. I kind of look at them closely. They seem to be more precocious. And he plays some board games. I think Battlestar Galactica is a little over his head, but he can play a fair amount of board games. There was I went to an expo last Sunday, and it was Adicon or some crap like that. It was a board game. It was a general game expo, a game and RPG. They had some video games there too. And I met one guy. I believe he was 11, and that dude he's going to magnet school. His father would be a fool if he didn't put him in magnet school, because that kid was all over the place. Very charismatic. And I was like, you know, when you have a kid, I'm bigger on video games than I am on board games. Board games require you have to follow your own rules, and you have to follow them correctly. It's not like a video game where the rules are dictated for you. You follow along a rigid line. You don't self-regulate like you do with a board game. So your mind is in a different mode. You have to constantly be looking at things, otherwise the game doesn't work. And it requires a little bit more mental dexterity than a video game. So I'm kind of thinking, board games for your kid are really seem to be a really good investment.
Don't. I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
That's Elizabeth showing the cards. She can't help it.
I can only help with I can't really help.
Yeah, my camera. I don't.
I can help after that.
I don't really. I think I played the camera a little bit. I try not to.
I'll take your help.
I do have respect for the people at the table. They're really good players. They would understand, but I don't want to slow the game down. I basically want the camera to be. I want like as if we were just standing there looking at the game. I don't want the camera to be looking around. I don't want to have to stop the game and look around, though I could. Which is why I kind of want to play a game of Battlestar Galactica where I'm not playing it. I actually have the camera and I'm looking around. I'm moving it around to zoom on the various nuances, and I'm able to actually do the commentary while I'm there instead of doing this audio track.
Minus one morale.
Towards the end, I do have a little bit of a freak out. I had a freak out here before. I had people staring at me. What happened was I was a silent leader, in a 5-player game, and what I'm fearing right now is the one UR silent card was buried, and I flipped my shit because the game was a pussy walk. I couldn't have had an easier silent leader card. I think I was Leeboon, which was a big mistake, and it was. You had the Cylons have to win, and you had to have been either killed or in the brig upon the Cylons winning. It was prove their worth or something like that. Prove their show them their show the humans that they're evil. That was the title of the card. And I actually got killed. And I was pretty happy. I was like, well, I'm pretty happy. And I believe the game was. They were close to losing on food or morale or something. No, or actually, I think the game went pretty smoothly. There was no other Cylon on the goddamn board. It was such bullshit. I flipped out. I was like, what the fuck is that shit? That's such bullshit. To have a 5-player game with one fucking Cylon in it is just bullshit. So here's where they jump. Everything goes on the board, and at this point, I'm like I'm kind of upset.
Said jump us.
You won field goal too. What are you looking at me like that?
All right, so I believe right now they jump I think they're at 5 or 3. They're at 5 or 6. So here comes the sleeper agent phase, and I get 2 loyalty cards because I was Boomer. And I just asked them, okay, I get 2 loyalty cards. They're both You Are Not a Silent. Now, what I want to do initially, you can't split them. You have to give both of them to, which is what Josh is about to tell me right now. And here's where Daniel finds out he's a Cylon, and alright, this half of the video is me bashing fucking Dan because he played the shittiest Cylon game I've ever fucking seen. Anybody who knows how to play the game play a Cylon. I've seen people who haven't played the game before if you haven't played the game before and you're a Cylon, my sympathies, because you will probably lose. Because you have a lot of people telling you, Battlestar Galactica is a game where people tell you what to do and you don't necessarily have to do it. I gave my 2 loyalty cards to Josh, mainly because the president. Here's the thing: giving. All right, or if I believe Josh was right. If you have a Cylon card, you might want to give it to the president. The president could do more damage. However, if you have You Are Not a Cylon, and you could fool people into thinking that the Admiral is a Cylon, I think it's really good because Admiral being a Cylon is like a ticking time bomb. It's like a bet. And you don't know the Admiral's a Cylon until the destination deck shows up and here comes the ones. You know, but giving the You Are Not a Cylon cards to the president, and the president acts he doesn't brig anyone, then people will say, oh well, he gave him a no, You Are Not a Cylon. So Dan is now a Cylon. I believe, yeah, but like Josh said, or Josh will tell me later on, he said, oh, if he had a Cylon card, give it to the president. I agree. But I believe since I didn't have You Are Not, if I had You Are Not a Cylons, I give him to the Admiral. Now I blow my load, maybe people on the outside would know what I was up to, but really they don't. I could change my game anytime.
Are you my chicken?
I'm in the hanger dip. I lost my feet.
Now Daniel still has once per game, and like I said, it would be an interesting twist if he were to look at Dave's card and say that he was silent, though he did it before, because he could do that and then he could tell Callie on her turn to blow him away, which is good. But see, I think it was worthy gamble, because if Elizabeth saw that he was bullshitting, I think her neutral reaction would be to not do anything and just wait to get brigged, I guess. Because brigging Callie, big fucking deal, okay? Okay, so you got me, but, I have 2 people on my side who are willing to kill you. But Callie's wants per game gives everyone a hard on.
Maybe it's because he's a silent.
Yeah, the board game place, I played a game pretty similar to Battlestar Galactica, Shadows over Camelot. I was told that was the game that Battlestar Galactica put out of business. And Shadows over Camelot is a masochistic game. It's crazy, and there's a trader in it. Like it's a game. It's pretty similar to Battlestar Galactica almost every way it is. Instead of drawing a crisis card, you basically have a choice of doing three things. You could put a siege engine in front of the castle, which pretty much, if the castle has 15 siege engines, I think, outside, then the game ends and you lose. You could choose to lose a health, and you only start for like 4 health, or you could choose to draw a black card, and black cards are pretty much like crisis cards, except they're all like the worst thing on the planet. They're all like, you can draw one card that like makes it so you can't move or some shit. You can draw one card that like eliminates all the good shit you've done. And it's like it's such a crazy game. And it was fun. It's probably my second favorite. Well, yeah, I would say second. Zombicide used to be my second. Zombicide has a lot of fucking problems with it, and I'll get into that. I actually taped Zombicide. I actually managed to get away with a full tape of Zombicide, I believe.
How come we can only play
And actually, YouTube did a good job at editing this video together. I put this together on YouTube. I still have the editing software. And the battery ran out twice, I believe, or something. My battery ran out in the middle of this game. I think I did a really good. I turbo swapped it. Turbo swapped the battery out, and I think I did a pretty good job. If there was a cut, I missed it because I was just rubbing my eyes. It would pretty much be coming up soon. Both my batteries really only have like a 90-minute life in them, and that sucks. I don't know, in the world of cameras, I don't know how good that is, but to me that sucks. I should probably buy a third battery, since I only have one memory card. I think 3 batteries to 1 memory card is a good deal, because my memory card is a 16 gig, so that's pretty much 6 hours on like the longest setting. This is set the longest setting. High quality though. That could be the reason why my battery runs out, because of the high quality setting. But, be damned.
I'll do that. So, wait, I'm rolling to...
Here I am, I'm fucking bumbling around on the silent board. I'm criticizing myself because I'm really inexperienced when it comes to like that part of the Cylon board. I should really implement that more in my strategy. It's not a part of my lead board strategy. I believe if I were playing Cavill, I would want to get to know that board a lot better. Cavill's a really interesting guy. I play Cavill. He's not very good. I psych myself because I believe Cavill's more of a pro Cylon leader. But I was able to effectively use him for a pro human game. What I did was I used primacy effectively. There's 2 base stars on the board. If you use primacy, it puts a base star on the board. If there's no base stars in play, there will only be up to 2 in play. Then and there was no civvy ships, so the raiders would have been attacking Galactica. So I used primacy and I took a base star off and I put 3 raiders on and I put a civilian ship in the back, and that saved us for a little bit. Which I blew everyone's mind with that shit. Everyone should be sucking my dick. Because you basically said use Cavill as a fucking pro-human with a pro-human strategy. You give me the scenario, and I just invented one. It's crazy. So right now the pursuit track, if you could see it, if I could zoom in, I believe all that crap's about to go on board, but as you can see, there are 2 flash symbols away from jumping, so I'm still pretty depressed. I desperately want them to lose.
I will destroy Raptor.
They're destroying raptors. I'm like secretly masturbating because raptors can lead to more fuel.
No, last one. White Raiders. Yeah.
And they're going on the board,
And dump truck.
which is fucking stupid because now I don't know whose turn it is.
Because there's a whole bunch of stuff.
Take a look at the board.
I have to. And I will get rid of it. Pro Silent Agenda.
Yeah, Dan is a silent and you wouldn't know it because he's a fucking merc.
Well, if it's a heavy raid.
Here I am being pro-human.
Okay, I think you're 4 cards. You have a dance.
Two politics members.
Let's see what Dan does here. Sorry for the dead air. Spoilers. Dan does nothing. I'm so fucking pissed at him.
Really want us to jump right now?
Oh, he doesn't activate FTL. I'm hoping against hope FTL doesn't get activated.
It's only one copy.
The chances are the fleet's gonna jump long before it's my turn. But I'm hoping against hope. It could be a chance. But David, I believe, goes to FTL and activates it, and that feels cheeses me. Daniel's reveal card, I forget what it was. I believe it's Damage Galactica. Or not, no, mine is Damage Galactica. I forget what his was. Oh wait, he does activate FTL.
The county might shoot you.
If he activates FTL, I'm gonna flip my shit.
Well, I'd rather XO right
Oh, he throws an XO? God, you fucking suck. Daniel, if you're listening to this, you fucking suck. You suck a bag of bones. Holy shit. He's a fucking Cylon, folks.
Card that says like launch scout or something.
Oh.
I should look at your car.
Now I'm pissed. Like I was playing like, oh, I'm pissed, but I like Daniel. No, now I'm pissed at Daniel. He's sleeping right now. I'm gonna wake his ass up. You fucking XO'd. What little... Thanks. Thanks, Daniel. You could have fucking revealed. He told me the excuse was it was too late for him to reveal. I say fuck that noise, because if he revealed, it would have they wouldn't have gotten the prizes. It would have kept them there.
I don't think this is a
He's
no-brainer.
not.
Lose 2 killed. Place 3 raiders behind
So
you.
now they're at 8.
Raiders here.
Yeah, they're at 8 right now.
So not a Cylon road.
Crisis.
And Daniel just exiled Felix Gala, so he essentially wasted his turn.
We go over there and execute Ahab.
Or you can execute me if you. Okay, Prisoner Revolt. It's politics, leadership, and tactics. Pass no effect. 6+.
He should have used his once. I'm thinking like 1,000 things he could have done. I think I would use the once per game and gambled. Fuck it. No, but he's so scared. I'm so scared of Callie. I also want to remove Callie from the game because people just fucking have an adverse reaction. Like somebody has to be Callie because somebody has to be the great equalizer. Fucking stupid.
I don't want to lose my.
The game is winding down to a close. The humans are
Why?
close to winning. Fuel is at 2 now. I already blew up the token for fuel, so I'm kind of my hopes are dashed at this point. At this point, my goal is to delay them and get all those ships on there, and then blow up Galactica, which is the fastest way I believe to blow up the win as a silent. Is to do that. I don't know if people agree with me or not. But that's just what I believe in.
I got one moment.
This is gonna help a lot.
I never sell. She sells. I don't care.
Oh, this is where Daniel pretty much reveals himself.
That's a 2, an 8, a 10, a 7.
Oh, wait, never mind. Daniel fucking helps out. Fucking. There's one skill check where Daniel basically blows it because he knows it's almost over, but he throws all his cards in to try and blow it. And I'm like, whatever. At this point, I was pretty happy. This is somebody who's gonna lose with me, because if the You Are a Silent card was there, I would flip my shit. Josh was all like, oh well, there has to be an enemy Silent because all those negative cards showed up. And I said, well, the other Silent sucked sucked dick, sucked so bad. In fact, I even believe. I thought it was just a fluke, like Daniel read the wrong color on the cards. That's what I was thinking. But then when Daniel threw Daniel's a fucking Silent, I was like, what the fuck? Who were you? Seriously. I've played a shitty game, a shitty Silent game, but not nearly as shitty as what Danny's doing right now. XOing. I have actually XO'd the Silent leader to try and help. That was retarded. I XO'd a Silent leader who was pro-human. And his agenda was to blow up Vipers. He had to blow up Vipers and Raptors. And that's what he did when I XO'd him. He went up to blow up Raptors and Vipers. Which, yeah. But basically what he did, he set up unmanned Vipers in space. That's all he did.
I'm a scout for field.
He was like, well, you XO'd Silent there. I said, what else was I going to do? I believe at that point, in that game, Dan wasn't revealed. No, actually, I didn't reveal. I was unrevealed. I wasn't an EXO. Well, Dan was already dead or something. Callie repaired the armor.
That's part of the reason why I didn't want to lose a raptor. I'm more of a hazard. Admiral chooses return all undamaged vectors on game board to the reserve. The Admiral must discard 2 random set cards or -1 morale and damage.
I believe they damaged Pegasus.
They'll put that base there on board. I think we have the morale.
So Pegasus takes it. I believe the batteries are damaged.
Yes, because
Oh no, the engine room
I don't want to return to the base.
doesn't really matter.
Alright.
Pegasus's location is pretty powerful. It's very powerful. The weakness of it is that you can't ever let Galactica take damage. You just can't, because it's not that. For one thing, main batteries, big fucking deal. You know, main batteries and research room and that one on top, communications, big fucking deal if they're damaged. Okay, but there's just a chance that fuel will be damaged. There's a chance that any other location, the armory could be damaged. Armory isn't really all that important, but if there's a radar on board and your presence is silent, you are fucked. Positively fucked. Pegasus is pretty powerful, but that's where you want all the damage to be. And if you're on Pegasus, you're probably gonna get killed or something. Well, not killed, but set to sit.
Why are you always against that?
And David's in command, so he can do something.
I looked up online. There is a way to play Battlestar Galactica online. There's an open source board game kind of like emulator software thing, and there's like a special plugin for Battlestar Galactica, so you can actually play Battlestar Galactica over Skype if you want to, which is really, really, really cool.
Or you can still XL me. I mean, nope. Nope. You can't shoot me.
It's really cool. I just wish it was AI. I wish you could play against AI. I would play the game all fucking day. I would just learn everything in and out of it. I would eat, sleep, and breathe Battlestar Galactica.
He likes these dialogues.
I'm furious.
Oh yeah, I'm laughing because they accused Josh of being the Cylon. I'm like, his actions alone are the only reason why you're still in the game. Yeah, exactly. That's what I said. He would have been. You guys would have been at 0 fucking fuel. Josh could be a Cylon. I was like, okay. And by the way, anyone who gives you fuel can't be a fucking silent. That's probably the one thing. If you're trying to fool people, if you're silent and trying to fool people and giving them fuel, yeah, you've proven you're pro-human, but fuck, man. If you're silent, you got some balls. Cause fuels is too juicy to even fucking, you know, anything with a minus fuel is anything you want to go after. I think you believe you only start for like 8 fuel, is it? And getting it back means taking ones and shit. And yeah, I want you to stay in space because every one of those crisis card man is always minus a
Reason why I
resource.
left Vipers on the board. Well, there's one Viper and there's me. Me defending that.
They're worried about civilian ships on the board when they're at 8, and the population. I can't see the population's at like 8 or some shit. I'm like big fucking
Why are you always against
helo. Oh, there it is. There's the cut. that was a pretty good cut. The lighting changed a little bit. Could be battery. I don't know why. I thought I put the camera in almost the exact same location, which was pretty impressive. A pretty good tripod, I guess. And my futile attempt to try and sabotage. See, if I had a choice of drawing 2 cards, it's always treachery and you want a symbol and a high number card. You can't pick 2 of the same one because I was gonna say I'll pick two pilot it. But no, you have to pick 2 different ones. So, I believe this is where Daniel lets it know that he is a bad guy.
Treachery, bad engineering, -0, -1, bad.
Yeah. Here's where Daniel blows his load. The fucking Merpadu. So I'm like, whoa, I guess there is another sign on, but since he sucks so much dick, I don't think this is still possible. I think Daniel just, because Daniel's colorblind, I think he just fucked up the colors.
Oh my gosh.
By the way, you can still play this game when you're colorblind. Every card, even green cards, they all say leadership, so you can play this while colorblind. Every board game, they've thought ahead on these things. But yeah, it's actually a pain in the ass because it's a lot easier just to say, okay, I want 2 yellows, 2 greens, and 2 purples instead of all fucking like, oh, I want leadership, tactics, and engineering.
I'll take a treachery and a pilot cost.
Mr. Poor Card? And you're playing with somebody else.
Josh is in space. He can't really do anything with the Baltar. He's gonna have to escort Vipers. Oh, it's my turn.
Yeah, I was only, for the Raiders, that
All right, so I'm rolling for the.
you have 6 for your team. So you roll the necessities. So you're gonna do the jump. I'll do the jump.
I think I fizzled. Or no, I have to roll lower than 6, and I forget why I rolled.
Oh, I'm doing this first.
I increased the pursuit track, which is why I didn't want. It's good, but I didn't want that.
Come on, 6 or lower. 5 or lower. 6 or lower?
All right, so I blew it up, and I forget what I pick. I think I pick FTL and. No, I'm sorry. I picked 2 and I choose 1 to resolve, and I think I got Armory and FTL, and I think I picked FTL. Oh no, it was Food and FTL, which should require less fight. Yeah, I'm gonna lower Food over FTL. They were gonna repair it anyway, but FTL it just makes them waste a turn. So the Food was at 4. Every other resource is at 3, except for population, which I believe right now is at 4 or 5. So yeah, and I already blew up the fuel token, so there's FTL.
Huh? Maybe he only had a choice between the two.
He's not holding it. It's just eliminating his effort.
Maybe they were both three.
Callie's still trying to figure out Josh. See, yeah, there I am bitching about the Cylon. Fucking damn.
Seriously. The other side, see,
I'm suffering. I'm having a Vietnam flashback because the last time it happened, I lost horribly, and it really fucking pissed me off. And I'm like, if the other Silent Bear fucking work his magic, because we could have won this if Daniel played more aggressively, we could have won. But he was sucking the dick of the quorum cards.
No, I was going to say, there to go command, like you can move that there and escort that. Yeah, because the next thing probably would be
There I am. I'm very pro human.
move there and escort that.
The heavy raiders are really close to 2 more symbols than they board, but they're gonna win before that happens.
Mill, distinction, Admiral chooses most
The likelihood of jump symbols are more frequent than heavy raiders.
activate the
But I believe a heavy raider symbol does appear.
or choose
Actually, I believe the heavy raiders do board.
I really don't know. We also have like 2 city ships that I don't. So
Yeah.
-1 mile.
They're worried about civvy ships. Population's at 4. They could lose on population. It's very, very unlikely.
I will reroll it.
And Pegasus is destroyed. And once it's destroyed, you can't bring it back. That's Pegasus' lot in life. Still a pretty powerful ship. Yeah, you can airlock people. You can guarantee that the next card will be a jump. The main barriers are okay. CIC, I forget what it does. I forget what CIC does. CIC, I think, is destroyed base stars, and the other one's destroyed raptors. I mean, raiders. 10 more minutes. That's all you have to do, folks. Stay hanging there for 10 more minutes. It's about 1 a.m. here. I'm pretty beat.
He shot twice.
I gotta do long. I'm trying to refrain from drinking this Dr. Pepper and fucking with my voice. My voice is pretty fucked up. I don't want to be burping in the mic. Daniel's sifting through his catalog. He's not going to reveal. He's looking at his quorum deck, realizing there's nothing he can do because he played such a great job being pro-human.
No, Callie wants to read it. Callie's going like, I can fucking poly.
Where's this stick?
That's the other silent card, isn't it? No, there were too many bad cards.
I'm like, come on, Cylon, get off your ass. Push the pursuit, decrease the pursuit track by 1, please. He's so afraid of revealing and get shot. He's still a little pussy.
We don't want to increase the pursuit track. So we're going to do the orc. Because that brings all that on the board. You want all that on the board? No. Alright. So roll for the base start.
Base star gets hit.
7.
I believe, I forget what his name is. Saying Callie, that's actually really, really good because it's her turn next. She only draws 1 card and it's Callie. That's really, 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 really good. Saying Callie is a sick base, effective way to neutralize her for any kind of fucking skill check because she can't do shit.
Reroll minus 2.
Was it Love Elizabeth? That it's attacking the base star. Oh, I'm sorry. It's attacking the Hilo. Two Centurions on board. I'm thinking my options. Like going, I might be going to the Cylon fleet to push him up, but which is what Daniel suggested that I should have done. That doesn't do anything. I was better off on the Cylon fleet. Because you mean to tell me, okay, well, let's say I could push the pursuit track on the Cylon fleet. I think that's what you can do, but I don't know. Would you rather do that and be guaranteed, or would you have a chance of pursuit, not only pushing up your pursuit track, but maybe have a stab at pushing back their jump prep? That's excellent. Yeah, they jump. Because if they didn't jump on that turn, we might have won it. But anyway, what's going to happen is Dave's going to activate FTL because now that they've repaired it.
Nope, I am wrong. Emo is going to use his own compass and say that you discard 2 cards.
Josh using Hilo, brilliant play at Hilo. Daniel tried to botch that press and chooses, but Hilo's once per game is to moral compass. He's able to reverse a decision made by another player, which is very similar to Boomer's ability.
I like Callie.
You're the one who keeps telling me she's a Cylon.
So Lightbearer's
I'm still skeptical that there's even a Cylon because Dan's playing so fucking bad that I refuse to believe that. Here's a guy who fucking killed everyone with food. He lured food. And Dave's going to FTL. They're doing the dice rolls for the Super Viper, which is going to be destroyed. There it goes. We move over, jump track, and
Alright, Ada, you get 2 cards.
We get to jump.
Yeah, I did.
I thought we were already there.
No, we were there.
rolling the die for population. It's a guaranteed jump, but he's rolling the die for population. And he's re-rolling it, and they're still gonna fail it, but it doesn't really matter because he went anyway. Here I go. I feel bad.
Oh my god. I am not a Cylon. I am not a Cylon. I am not a Cylon. Let me guess. Damn Cylon. What were you doing? You were nowhere, man. I put a valiant effort. I don't know where my teammate was. Are you for real? He plays a Centurion.
Oh, they couldn't do anything. Oh, and you put one. It was too late into the game. I couldn't do anything.
So just let him win.
I couldn't do anything.
I told him he was walking home. He's walking to work. I told him because he stayed up late playing video games. I was going to offer him to drive him to work. He's going to work overtime on Saturday, but yeah, he ended up oversleeping. I ended up oversleeping too. Really. Yeah, I explained my strategy.
Crap on the board so I can use it, but never, that one time you guys got to jump. So I was choosing between a 3 and a 3, then a 2 and a 2, and then a 1.
Which is incorrect. He drew a 2 first, then a 1, and then he threw a 3. No, it was. It was like 1. It was like 2, 1, 3, 3. I think I grabbed the camera, and I think I'm about to zoom in on the various nuances of the board. Damn, botched it.
Now, see, I was was trying to time my wants per game. I wanted a good one where somebody would die, but I knew when it came out at that
I don't even know why I even explain my boomer strategy. It's lost on me. No, his boomer sucks. You get put in the break. Well, I didn't get put in the break. The one time I got put in the break, I ended up winning. So suck my dick. People who don't believe in boomer. I'm not saying she's the best. I think the best depends on whoever like. The best is whoever anybody else picks. I think, in my opinion. My only problem with Felix. Felix is a very selfish player. It's best player to get out of the break with. That's why I like Zarek. Zarek is like Gala, but for everyone. But it's not guaranteed you'll get out of the break, but it makes it easier, and you can make it harder for somebody else. And it's a perpetual ability. And its once per game is pretty cool. If it's pro-human, you could sacrifice a pop for fuel, and people will suck your dick if you do that. Now we're kind of contemplating here on playing another game or waiting for Zombicide. They're playing Zombicide in the other table, and we were waiting for them. And I think we waited for like 20 minutes, and we decided to play another game. Another game that I play so badly that Josh doesn't want to play with me. It's a game where you give clues and stuff. And I guess Josh takes it too seriously. And Daniel couldn't play because his eyesight's all fucked up, so it's just us three. Elizabeth, David, and I. And we played pretty crappily. But it wasn't because of my fault, it was because Elizabeth gave Dave a clue about blue. And when you give clues, typically it's about what card you play. And he gave her a clue. There was like a blue 1. I think it was a blue 1 and 2, and he had a blue 3 and 4, and he played the 4, and we lost it. We ended up not finishing it. We ended up interrupting and playing Zombicide, which I recorded.
My other battery sucks too, by the way.
Checking the battery life on the camera. The battery life's pretty good. I managed to get in the full game of Zombicide, which I might do a commentary on. I won't do it now. I got the camera. I'm trying to be careful not to.
Almost won. Almost a silent victory. Look, all the reds. All the reds.
I don't do faces. If I could have gotten the shot, they gave me permission to get their faces, but if I got his face, I would have gotten everyone's face in the board game room, and I didn't want to do that. I don't have blurry technology.
He wasn't making you a Cylon, so.
Well, I was hoping that's true. I guess.
He knew what they were.
Yeah. I was trying to keep you guys out in space. I figured, well, if I. Shit. Battlestar Galactica. Daniel blew it for me.
Well,
Blew it.
there's Boomer. That's the character I play, and there's my fucking.
Game of Boomer.
There it is.
Boomer.
Beautiful mug. She looks prettier in that screenshot than she does in real life. Remember, I don't even think that's her.
You blew it.
That almost looks like an artist rendering.
Gaia. You led the humans to victory. Bastard.
And there it is. Thanks for tuning in.
Almost.